Today, Fujifilm released a firmware update for the XT4 and the GFX100 camera systems. We're going to talk about them right now. Hi everyone and welcome to Pal to Tech. Today we're talking about the new firmware update for the XT4 and GFX100 camera models. Unfortunately, this firmware update is designed to fix several bugs and doesn't provide any new features. Let's start with the GFX100. The update is version 4.11 and it adds 4 separate fixes for the camera. The first is problems that have to do with pairing Bluetooth devices to the camera. This firmware update addresses better and more reliable Bluetooth pairing and the device registration process as a whole. The second fix has to do with the camera freezing up while the eye sensor is enabled. Now, I never experienced this issue when I use the GFX, but for those of you that have, this problem is now resolved. The third fix addresses the first curtain setting for the flash sync mode. According to Fujifilm, the camera flash was, quote, not lit correctly when taking photos with long exposure times. I'm not sure how long those exposure times were, but that's as specific as Fujifilm announced about this problem. And finally, the most important update of all, battery charging through the US cable is now fixed. Same with the battery remaining amount display showing wrong. Now, I experienced this problem firsthand when I tested out the GFX100 camera, and I have to tell you, it is a real problem. It was constantly causing issue for me. You would plug a USB cable straight into the butter and the damn thing would not work. Okay, all right. I know they meant battery charging, but there was no way I was not gonna do this bit. That's how it was this morning on their firmware update site. I'm sure they fixed it by now. Now, the XT4 has received 2 bug fixes with this firmware update 1.25. The first is the same Bluetooth issue that I just mentioned previously, and the second is the same camera freezing up while the eye sensor is enabled issue. I've used the XT4 for hundreds of hours, and I've never had this problem, but apparently enough people did to warrant an update, so there you go. Now, as far as how to install the firmware update on your camera, I'm gonna have Pal to Tech from the past tell you how to do that. Take it away, past Pal to Tech. Now, to make the update, you can use either the Fujifilm app, which I never do, and see my Fujifilm app video to hear what I think of the Fujifilm app, or you can use an SD card. I prefer the SD card method. I'll have a link to the firmware download page in the description below this video. Once you get to the firmware download page, simply find your camera model. Click on I agree and go ahead and download. And then go ahead and put the firmware file on your SD card. Take the SD card out of your computer and put it in slot number 1 of your camera. Make sure that your camera is turned off, then press and hold down the DISP back button while you turn the camera on. Press menu OK to get to the next screen, choose body, and go ahead and click OK. Make sure you have a full battery in there and then go ahead and click OK. Great, thank you, Pal to Tech. Well, I hope you found the video helpful, or at least entertaining, and if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I will see all of you again in a brand new video very soon. Take care. You would plug a USB cable straight into the butter and the damn thing... I gotta do it again.